Hey everybody, this is Tony Mabe, and I just want to do a video real quick about some kind of tips about when you're beginning playing the banjo, and some stuff that I think would really help. It probably would have really helped me when I first started if I'd had somebody kind of give me just some pointers on the tools that you need to get started with. First off is of course your banjo, and if someone's gave you one, you're halfway there. But if not, and you're going to buy a banjo, I would suggest buying a used one and buy a better brand. Buy as good of a banjo as you can buy, as you can afford to buy. A good place to buy one is banjohangout.com. They have a classified section on there, and those guys are all pickers, so they're more knowledgeable about what they're selling. I wouldn't suggest going and buying a new banjo because if you go buy a new one, especially a cheap one, the day that you buy it and take it home, it's basically worth half of what you paid for it. Even the same thing with some more expensive instruments like Gibsons and Deerings, Stellings, such as that. You're going to lose money right off the bat if you decide it's not for you. So I would suggest going and buying a pre-owned banjo as good as you can afford to buy. If you can afford to buy a Gibson, a Huber, a Stelling, a Deering, any of those, it's some good brands, and also some smaller independent makers out there. And I wouldn't suggest buying one off Craigslist, even if it seems like a good deal, because I've seen a whole lot of fakes and parts instruments that aren't what they're supposed to be. And if you don't know what you're looking for, a couple of them has even fooled me. I've actually kind of looked into a couple that turned out to, they were Gibson copies instead of real Gibsons. But the other thing is like strings and picks. I usually use the new National NP2 finger picks in nickel silver. They're about as close as you can get in new picks to the old National finger picks, and that's what a lot of the professional people years ago used. Actually, that's what most everybody years ago used. There were only a couple of brands around. But if you're looking for like what Sonny Osborne used or what Earl Scruggs used, Don Reno used, they would have been Nationals and the old pre-war type or just post-war type. Um, the NP2s are about as close as you can get for the money. There are some other people like Bob Perry who make them. Little Roy Lewis sells a set called Roy's Own. The only thing I don't like about those picks is the inside holes are fairly sharp, and if you're just starting out playing, you don't have calluses on your fingers from those, from wearing picks for a long time. They will tend to kind of chew up your cuticles and stuff, and so for especially for kids, that can kind of be a little discouraging. I use Golden Gate thumb picks. These are, some people call them the clown puke pick or the rainbow pick, and I like those pretty good. The Dunlop white thumb picks are pretty good. I would probably stay away from Nationals or some of the off-brand picks that they just don't last very long. A lot of those, you can put them on and heat just deteriorates them real quick, so the sweat and stuff from your hands will kind of do them in. Strings. When you first start playing, I would suggest using light gauge. Probably either what you would call nines. That just means your two outside strings, your first and your fifth, will be nines. Or the best set, probably especially for the money, and what a lot of people still use, are the JD Crow GHS light banjo strings. And they call these the studio set now. They're model PF140, and you can get these off somewhere like Just Strings on the internet for like $2.80, and most every music store you'll find that carries banjo strings will have these. If you're first starting out playing, especially for younger people, I wouldn't suggest Diodarios. GHS strings are made out of stainless steel, and so they're a little more hard to corrode. When you first start playing, at least I noticed my hands were this way. I sweated a lot and had a lot of salt built up. Some people don't have this problem, but most of you will, especially if you're a teenager. Or even when you first start playing, sometimes it kind of makes you nervous and your hands sweat. And Diodario are, if I'm not mistaken, like a nickel wound type string on the fourth, and plain steel strings, and they corrode a little quicker. I'm not saying they don't sound any as good, but I just don't feel like they last as long. At least they haven't for me. Um, Other things, if you're going to be out moving around a lot, if you're going to be traveling with your banjo I would suggest getting a good case. Don't get a soft shell case. Try to find something that's hard. Even any kind of a cheap real wood case is better than a soft case. So even if you have a really cheap banjo, I suggest you invest in at least maybe $100 case and protect what you have. Um, this is going to be sort of a series of videos, and since I've not been playing a lot recently, I almost quit playing for close to a year, and I'm just now in the last 3 or 4 months really getting back into the swing of things. And I thought I would do some videos, maybe doing a little bit of teaching. So if any of you have any songs that you'd like to learn on the banjo, or any questions about banjo setup, or just anything like that, I'd be happy to help you with it. And forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a series. So any questions that you have, if you're watching this on Facebook, kind of shoot me a message on there, or maybe a comment in the section on YouTube. And I'm by no means claiming to be a great musician or anything. I'm just I figured God gave me a talent to play, and I had people who helped me start playing the banjo, and I'd like to do the same thing. I know there are people out there who can't afford to take lessons, or like I was, I didn't get the whole tablature thing, reading out of the books and learning how to play. I'm more of a hands-on kind of look, listen, and learn, kind of person. So if that would help you, I'd be sure glad to do it. So yeah, put some songs out there, something you'd like to learn. Most people, when they start playing, a good suggestion is like the Earl Scruggs stuff. Not that it's necessarily uncomplicated or easier, but the melody lines are more straightforward, so it's easier to kind of sing along and hear the way the melody's flowing. And just for the rest of this video, I'm going to maybe play a couple of tunes right quick, and hope you enjoy it. Thank y'all. God bless. Like I say, if you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to put them. If you have some songs you'd like for me to break down, I don't do tablature, but I will really slow some songs down if you want to learn them. Basic kind of stuff. We can do whatever you'd like to do. If you'd like to learn some Scruggs stuff, I'm familiar with that. If you'd like to do some, kind of Reno stuff, and maybe learn some of that. I know some of that's a little harder to pick up on. So if you'd like to learn some of that, just let me know. These videos are free, and I'm just trying to help people out. Thank you. God bless.